this day. There have been so many amazing presentations. I just got the thumbs up from Jen that yes, our audio is working. Fantastic. We've done all the tech things I've been playing with everything today, and we are good to go. Yes. Okay. If you don't know me, well, now you do. Hello, I'm Rebecca, and I am Design and Adorn. I started Design and Adorn in 2008 with my spouse, Richard Swanborg. We are here in Tucson, Arizona. Our main business right now is doing kits online at designandadorn.com, but we also teach classes. We're really getting into Zoom classes. Those are super fun. We've done a bunch of Zoom classes in the last 12 months and can't wait to do more. So we got Zoom classes, we have in-person classes. We now have some availability for in-person shopping on some limited hours here at our shop in Tucson. You can find out more information about that on our website. Let's see what else is going on here. Oh, we're going to Prague in October. I'm going with John Cooper's of Da Beads. Great guy, super expert on the bead import business, and we are going with him for this bead factory tour. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So that's a big thing that's going on. I'm teaching a Kumihimo design retreat at the Museum of Beadwork in May. So many cool things happening. I'm gonna try to scoot closer so that I can actually read the comments on the screen here. I was just watching Neely's presentation. So many cool projects there, and I heard him comment, "Oh, can't see the tiny things anymore." I'm like, same, absolutely same. Oh, cool, great. Yeah, she says it's been wonderful. Right, it's so fun. There's so many great presenters, so many cool projects. Right, this has just been a really fun day so far, and there's more coming tomorrow. How cool is that? Isn't it neat that there are like all these independent businesses working together to put on this show for everyone? I think it's really cool. I think it's a very, very special thing that we've got going on here, and I am glad that you are here to be part of it. Let me show you my project for today. This is the awesome ombre. This is a beaded kumihimo pattern, and it's a counted pattern. So what that means is when we pick up our beads, we're going to pick them up in a specific order, and that's how we get the color change. All right, so we're going to start at one end with a bead soup, and then it's going to magically transition to a solid color, and then magically transition back to the bead soup. And we're going to do that for a necklace and a bracelet. And we have these kits in a bunch of colors. I checked the stock right before we went live, and I still have all the colors available, but some of them are getting really, really low. Like the Sonoran Sunset, that's the that's the sample color. That one's getting pretty low. And then this is another one that I know is almost out of stock. And anyway, we have a bunch of colors. If you guys get my emails, I sent out thing the other day about a little bit about like the color inspiration for some of these. I don't know if you've been to Tucson, but we have some really fantastic murals. And so I was just, sometimes it's hard to just like pick colors from thin air. And when I need a little bit of inspiration, I often turn to art. So I was looking at some of the murals in Tucson, and that was my inspiration for some of these colorways. So Fantasy Under the Sea, this is based on this fabulous mural by Jessica Gonzalez. It's on the side of one of my favorite bookstores. This is on the side of Antigone Books on 4th Avenue. And then this one, When the Desert Blooms, this mural is downtown near the art museum, and it just really captures the vibrant greens of the Sonoran Desert. A lot of people think of the desert and they think it's going to be brown, but actually, if you come here, it's so green. It's so vividly green, and when we get a little bit of rain, everything just like pops. It becomes this really delicious green with all this yellow flowers. So I'm I'm just really in love with all these colors. So we do have lots of different colorways for you to choose from. Queen of Hearts, I love Alice in Wonderland as a story. So this is the one I'm going to be demonstrating today is Queen of Hearts. And let me pull back up my demo camera. If you have done Kumihimo before, put that in the comments. Let me know what sort of Kumihimo you've done. Have you done beaded Kumihimo? Have you just done fiber-based, like with ribbon or rat tail? Today we're doing a beaded Kumihimo. So this is an 8 warp project. So I'm gonna go over all the lingo in case you're brand new here. And if you're not brand new, it's always nice to have a little bit of a refresher. So when we're talking about a warp, we're talking about these chords. So there are 8 warps in this project. I've already done the stringing on 7 of them because I know you guys don't want to just sit and watch me string beads. So see, I've already put them on here. And if you get the kit, and we have these, they're on pre-order. We have them listed as ready to ship by the end of the month, but I think we might be able to ship them a little bit early. We're really making good progress on them. So when you get your kit, it has stringing charts for, I want to say it's 8 sizes of bracelets and 6 sizes of necklace. So you'll start by deciding which size you want. And then I printed this up really big so it would actually show up on camera. So you find your size, and then we've got our warps are numbered. And oh, I did not bring my whole instructions in here. I'll just draw one for you. So like the warps are numbered, what does that mean? So there's a diagram in the instructions. Looks like this, right? It's a little picture of a Kumihimo disc, and this is the starting position for the warps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're going to, before you start, you're going to number your bobbins. All right, you can take a look here and see everybody's got a number on it. I'm looking for my last bobbin, the one that's going to go on here. Well, we're just going to borrow one from another project. There we go. There we go. There's a bobbin. So I've got a number on each one of these guys. You can write directly on here with a Sharpie, or I put a little sticker on it and then write it on. I just find it lasts a little bit better. Beating with Nicole wants to know how you set the colors in the pattern. We're gonna go over that. So first, you're gonna number all of your bobbins, and then when we're going to place them around the disc, this is the order to go in. So warp number 1 is right up here at the top. Warp number 2 down here is its catty corner partner. So the reason I number them like this is because this is the order in which they move around the disc when we're braiding. So that just makes it easier when I'm designing. And then also as you get more into it and you're designing your own stuff, you can like better understand how everything is moving around. So you're going to number your bobbins, find the stringing chart for your size, so just measure your wrist, or maybe you already know what size bracelet you like to wear. And then we're going to start stringing. I only have to do warp 1 because I did the others before I started. So the kit comes with a big eye needle. I love these. A big eye needle is basically 2 wires soldered together at the ends, so it's really easy to thread. So I'm just going to crack that open with my fingernail, stick the cord in there and pull it down to one end. I'm leaving a really short tail, but something that's a little bit different in case you're new to this type of needle. You want a short tail because the spot where the needle is pinching the thread, it's going to mess it up. So you don't want to leave a really long tail like you would with a traditional beading needle. Oh, cool. Jeanette says, I haven't done Kumihimo before, but I want to learn. You are in the right place. Fantastic. So I'm looking at a blown up version of the stringing chart for my size, and it says warps 1 and 2. So that means both of those warps are going to get the same thing. Both 1 and 2 get 14 M. M stands for mix in this case. 14 S. S stands for solid. And then 19 M. So 19 mix. And here's how they come labeled in your kit. So size 8, color M. So I put some of these out. I'll try to not throw my beads everywhere. Somebody asked. So how long is each warp? So in the kit, we've already like pre-cut your cords. I already opened up the one clearly labeled bracelet. You have a second one in there for necklace. Your your guideline for how long you want your cords to be is you want 3 times your finished length with a 1 yard minimum. So let's say you're doing an 8-inch bracelet. That's going to be 8 times 3, 24 inches, but 1 yard minimum, so 1 yard. So that's how long the bracelet pieces are cut. So you have 8 1 yard pieces in here. From the necklace, we have 8 2 yard pieces in here. Oh, thanks, Diane. Diane says, I've completed many of your kits. Your instructions are very detailed and easy to follow. I learned Kumihimo in a class several years ago and have a design adored Maridai. That's awesome. All right, so I've got my mixed beads here and scoot you guys into frame. And here's my solid beads, which are black for the Queen of Hearts colorway. Can you do this with size 6 seed beads? Yes and no. You can do Kumihimo with size 6 seed beads. You can't take these instructions and convert them directly to size 6 seed beads because you would need a different count for that size. All right, I'm going to try to count. Let's see if I can do it. These are pretty low numbers. All right, that's 10. And when I'm picking up these mixed ones, I'm not making a special pattern. I'm just picking them up. I just sort of like work along the edge. Okay, there's my 14 of the mix. And now I'm going to do 14 of the solid. All right. That's good there. And back to the mix. So I need 19 of those. And again, don't make a special pattern. So I only poured out a tiny bit. Like look at how much I have. I've got a bunch here. I think it's like 30 some grams or what's in the kit. I just poured out a teeny tiny bit. That helps me not make patterns, right? I just pour out a little bit and I just work along the one edge. Okay, there's my 19. I can take my needle off. So I'm just going to slide the needle to the middle. That'll loosen it, and then I can pull the needle off. The beads I'm using now are in the kit. This is the Queen of Hearts colorway. Everything is at our is on our website. Let's see, did I make a graphic? designandadorn.com. And then up under the tab shop, you'll see the TGBE Awesome Ombre kit. Also, in the comments, I pinned a link to the top of the comments on Facebook. I don't know how to pin a comment on YouTube. Anyway, I was talking, I didn't say what I was doing. So this is, I'm going to do a slip knot at the end of here. So to make a slip knot, I'm just going to wrap the end of the cord around my fingers and cross it underneath my thumb and my index finger. And I take my fingers out of that loop. And I'm going to reach through, pull the cords. And then with my left hand, I have two tails, and I've got a loop with my right hand. I'm just going to pull this in opposite directions. And this is a slip knot that can open and close. Are the bobbins you are using easy to find? I think they're pretty easy to find because they're on my website, but I'm not sure where else. A lot of bead stores carry them, so if you have a local bead store, you could check them out. If not, I sell them at designandadorn.com. Let me get my cords untangled here. All right, so when you're winding these up, you want to leave your beads together as a group. You don't want to be wrapping a little bit of beads and then a little bit of cord because it's just going to get aggravating because sometimes the cord jumps over the beads. So keep them together as a group, and you want maybe 1 to 2 inches of working cord up here. So line those up, and you can just pop the bobbin closed right over it. These are weighted bobbins. I know that not everybody uses weighted bobbins, but the reason I like them is that I find that it controls your tension and that students have an easier user experience, right? A better braiding experience because the cords aren't, the beads aren't popping out of the braid. So that's why I like to use those. So I've got all of my beads strung. I told you I wasn't going to torture you and make you watch me string beads for all of them. So before class started, I strung these. What size thread? This is Superlon size 18. It's also known as Tex 210. Ceylon beading cord is the same thing. It goes by a bunch of different names. Great question. All right, let me turn this. So I'm working on the blank side of mine just because we don't need all those. There's a bunch of numbers and stuff on here. So I'm working on the blank side. I put a little circle so I know which one is the top. So some Kumihimo lingo. The top of the disc is the side farthest from your body. The bottom of the disc is the side closest to your body. And then you got to keep track left and right. So there's only 2 moves. It's top right down, bottom left up. And then we're going to turn the disc. Top right down, bottom left up. We're just going to keep going around and around. Top right down, bottom left up. If you need to pause and take a break, I want you to do so with 3 at the bottom. This is a stopping point. So I can just set this down, walk away. I can pick up my drink here. And when I come back, I know where I've left off. I know that I am with the 3 at the bottom, and I can just whoop, pick it back up. So so the question is, does everything you need to make this come in the kit? All of the consumable materials, yes. It doesn't include tools. So in the kit, you're gonna get all of the cord. Like I said, it comes pre-cut, one for the necklace, one for the bracelet. You're gonna have your seed beads. You'll have a mix of seed beads, and then you'll have a solid color of seed beads. You'll have your delicas, the thread for stitching the end caps, but then you'll need your own tools. So you'll need your Kumihimo disc, your weighted bobbins, and your clip-on center weight, and of course some like pretty basic jewelry and crafting tools. So you're gonna want some scissors. You're gonna want nice scissors that can cut through something heavy. And what else do you need? Oh, you're gonna need You'll need some E6000 glue and some Nymo binding thread at the end. And if you don't have those at home, we do sell tools. We sell the Essential Kumihimo toolkit that has the disc, the weighted bobbins, and the center weight. And then we also sell the E6000 and the Nymo if you need that. These last a really long time. Like one spool of thread, I don't know, 50 projects at least, and a tube of glue, probably 10 at least. It lasts a pretty long time. Oh, oh, look at this. I stopped. I was all blah, 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 and I didn't stop at a stopping point. Oh no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. We're gonna figure it out. Let me get this stand so that this becomes less shaky cam. Okay, let's look at it together. So we were braiding and we were talking and we don't know where we've left off. We're gonna look at this and we're looking for the ones that are on top. So it's hard to see on camera, but I mean like physically on top, like you can scratch it with your fingernail. So this one's on top and this one's on top, right here and here. They're on top of the pile because you just put them there. So they moved most recently. So since they moved most recently and they're vertical, which is how we do our movements, I know that it's time for me to rotate and then top right down. All right, so we have a question. Does it change the pattern if you turn clockwise or counterclockwise? It does not. You're in luck. You can turn it either way you want. Now, I think it would be ideal if you could pick a direction and stick with it. So be like, okay, I'm always going to turn clockwise or I'm always going to turn counterclockwise. Pick a direction and stick with it. The reason I want you to do that is because I want you to be aware of the direction of travel so that later, when you want to learn a more complicated project, you're already aware of that. Because later, if you want to learn like basket weave or square braid or something like that, where some of the moves are clockwise and some of the moves are counterclockwise, you've already taught your brain to keep track of those things and you'll just be one step ahead. So that's why I recommend picking a direction and sticking with it, but it won't hurt the pattern. What matters in terms of counted patterns is you have to make sure that all of your bobbins start in this position. So every designer numbers differently. Not everybody does this. Some people are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when you're buying a Kumihimo pattern from somebody, look in the instructions. Somewhere there will be a diagram, and you just have to make sure that you have set yours up the way the designer intended. Let's see, what's this question? I already have a disc and bobbins. I use them for rat tail with the bobbins this thread, which is much thinner than the rat tail. It'll still hold it. The bobbins can hold a variety of materials. That's no problem. You might want to have a disc dedicated to beaded Kumihimo though, because the slots do get stretched out when you use them for rat tail. So what am I doing here? I'm just braiding around. Top right down, bottom left up, turn the disc. Top right down, bottom left up, turn the disc. And what I'm going for is about a 1/2 inch, no beads. And I'm just keeping an eye on it. It doesn't have to be exact. We don't need to measure it. We're going to cut it off at the very end. We're just giving ourselves some working room for when we're finished. So let's see. That's probably long enough. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to make sure that my next move before I do beads is warp number 1. My next move is number 3. So I'm going to keep going, no beads. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 2. That's fine. They switch around. So 1 and 2 are partners, and they are on deck, which means I can start putting in beads. So here we go. Braiding with beads. Let's do it. Oh, and this is a nice high contrast bead. Thank you, bead, for volunteering. So the moves are the same. So top right down, but I'm going to let one bead come up and I'm going to poke it right underneath this first perpendicular cross warp. Bring the cord across. So the bead goes in before you finish the move all the way. So Stick it in, bring the cord across, turn. Top right down, stick a bead in, bring the cord across. Kumihimo is fun. I absolutely agree. I'm rather obsessed. Oh, over here, I have like no working thread. So I'm going to open my bobbin, unroll this a little bit, let these guys slide down, and then roll it back up. Could I just like crank down on this bobbin and pull some more beads out? Yes, I definitely could, but that's going to wear out your bobbins. If you open them and let it slide down, that's just taking good care of your tools so that they last longer. So put that bead in there. Let me get my braiding stand again so we can see this up close. All right, I'm gonna zoom. Whoop, there we go. So what do I have? I have 4 beads in there. See how they are all sitting? I'm gonna do 2 more moves. These red ones are maybe easier to see. Here we go. I have a little silver bead. Oh, this one. Oh, thank you for volunteering. The hole is really easy to see on this silver bead. See how the hole is pointing straight up? That's what you want. That's how you know that this is correct. What you don't want is this. See how the side of the bead is pointing up? This is no good. This bead is not locked in place. It's going to cause us all sorts of problems later. So let's just fix it right now. There we go. So let's keep beading. So all the work of the color change is from the stringing pattern. Oh, let me unzoom. That's too much zoom. There we go. Um, all the color change, all the awesome ombre is from the stringing. So you set up your beads at the start, and then you just braid. It just goes. Let's see, what material or products are the warps? So this is called Superline or C-line, and it's a nylon string. It's fairly thick. It's I want to say it's 0.5 millimeters. Don't quote me on that, but off the top of my head, that's what I think it is. It's it's amazing. I use it for everything. This particular size is perfect, just perfect for size 8 seed beads. It's just like a match made in heaven. Oh, Debbie says I do this when my husband is having surgery. This is a great thing to do you need to have when you need to have your hands busy and your mind a little bit busy. I find it a great stress reliever. Um, it takes like enough mental energy that you have to focus, but not so much mental energy that it takes like a lot of brain power. It's a nice happy medium, right? It's almost like a working meditation, right? You're just rhythmically moving the beads, and it's great that you can start and stop whenever you feel like it. So I know I already mentioned this before, but like here's the stopping point. So you get the three down, you can walk away, you can come back to it. The bead is going under the perpendicular thread, correct? Yes, it is. It's going under the very first perpendicular thread that it comes to. So this is going to be a bottom left up. So there are 2 perpendicular warps here. It's going to go under the first one that it encounters. It's like it's walking along and it just trips and catches that bead right there. So I put a bracelet length on this one. I don't think I'm gonna have time to braid the whole thing, but I'll show you guys how to finish off in a little bit. I'll see if I can bust a move and get into the the color change part. Yeah, that's where the magic is. Yes, absolutely. The most work is loading the beads. Always, always. Um, but it's not like hard work either, right? You just have to like sit down and pay attention to it. Generally, I'm counting in groups of 10. That's that's about all I can reliably do. I can count to 10 most days. So this project, we're going to be finishing with some peyote stitch end cap covers. So this is what they look like before you put the end cap covers on. So these are stainless steel, and then we're going to put the peyote stitch over them. And what I love about the peyote stitch covers is that it's just a great way to customize your design. Have the dwarfs got beads on them? They do. They do. So that's what I did at the very beginning was I strung all these beads before I started. So each one has a different pattern of beads. That's where the color change action comes from. Ah, okay. So we have my problem is having the occasional bead disappearing in the braid, leaving a gap. So that's what I was talking about earlier. So like this one, if it doesn't sit correctly, this is going to leave a gap. At some point, it's going to get sucked into the middle of the braid, and on the outside, it'll look like there's a hole. So what do you do if, and there's not much here, but let's say you're braiding along, you're like, oh no, I'm missing a bead. Maybe I forgot to drop a bead, or maybe my bead didn't get locked in place. You can just unbraid, right? So to unbraid, you're just going to go backwards. So take this cord back, pull the bead out. All right, so you can unbraid. You can go back down to where your oopsie was and fix it, however far you need to go. I do have a YouTube. Um, it's Design and Adorn. So youtube.com/design and adorn. And on my YouTube, you will find lots of cool tutorial videos. So I have, like a beaded Kumihimo quick start guide, how to bind off. I have a really fantastic video on how to do peyote stitch end cap covers. I'll show you guys a little bit of that today, but it's really nice to watch the YouTube one because it's super close up because I recorded that in the studio. Let's see. Do you have directions online that we could have so we can? Yeah, I sell the directions for this too. If you don't want to buy a complete kit, you can just buy the instructions. They're designandadorn.com, and you'll find a tab for downloadable patterns. And it's pretty close to the top of the list because they're in there alphabetically, and it's awesome ombre. And it's one PDF that has the necklace and the bracelet together. Hey, thanks for posting that. That's the link to the kit. I have your book, Cuba with Seed Beads, great book. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, I have something kind of exciting. It's like probably too soon to say something, but we're all friends, so I'll go ahead and spill the beans. I am working with a printing house now. We're working on getting my file resized so that I can get beaded Kumihimo jewelry back into print. I don't know if you guys have this book. This is my third book. It came out in June of 2020. And if you recall, there was kind of a lot happening in 2020, and my publisher went out of business, Kalmbach. Uh, they're the ones who do the Beat and Button show. So my book was on the market just a really short period of time before it went out of print. But we are working so hard to get this book back into print. And I'm hoping that maybe in February we can start taking pre-orders for this book. So I'm really jazzed about that. Yeah, we have a question. Do you have any free PDFs? I do have free PDFs. And one of my pals just posted links. So the Kumihimo Starter Guide is a free PDF. There's another one called Understanding the Braid. That's a great one. If you've never done one of these counted patterns before, it just explains like the braid structure and like how to read different types of stringing charts. The one we're doing today is super straightforward, right? It's just like number, type of bead, number, type of bead, number, type of bead. But some patterns are a little bit more complicated. So that PDF just explains how to read more complicated patterns. So yeah, we do have some free PDFs you can check out. Ooh, I just accidentally lowered my chair. That was fun. And yeah. Oh, thanks, Sherry. I really appreciate it. So just braiding along, top right down, bottom left up. All right, let's see. So basically, you just keep on doing this until you're done. Just around and around and around you go. And then at some point, you're going to be out of beads. And then you're going to braid without beads. So yes, Trude is asking, is the discount code for shopping still active? Yes, and it's good for $20 off one of these awesome ombre kits. And I made a graphic. There it is. So it's code TGBE, and you get $20 off the awesome ombre kit. That's going to go through Monday. So you do still have some time to shop for that. Like I said, when we started the show, I had all the colors available, but some of them were getting pretty limited quantity. I'm gonna have to lift my chair back up. I accidentally lowered it with my foot, and now I'm too short. Okay, there we go. That's better. Oh, cool! Mariana's Kumihimo Basics and Beyond. That's my first book. Awesome. Oh, Lori, this is a great project. You're gonna love Bidu Kumihimo. It's tons of fun because there's just so much you can do with it. And the thing is, once you learn how to do the basics, you can do some really cool stuff without it actually getting too much harder. So I told you that we teach Zoom classes. So I have a Zoom class going on right now. This is the whoops, wrong button. Sorry about that. This necklace I'm wearing, this is the soiree. This is a 6-week Zoom class, and I'm gonna pull it up closer. So, oh wait, I have another one over here. I'll pull this closer so you guys can. There we go. This is the same braid. This is the same exact thing that we're doing right now. Top right down, bottom left up, counted pattern, and then we do some bead stitching to embellish it. So that's what's cool about Kumihimo is that once you get going on it, you can do some really super deluxe things um, with the same exact technique. And I just think that's really cool. Or like you can combine it with other things. Like I told you that we're going to Prague in October. So I'm going to be teaching 2 Kumihimo classes on the Prague trip. And isn't this cool? This is Bohemian Baubles. So we're going to do some wire wrapping and make this cool centerpiece on soft flex wire. And I've got the Kumihimo up the side, and I just love the texture of all of this. And then this is spiral staircase. So this is another counted pattern, but this one has some different types of beads. This has size 8 seed beads, size 15s, and these lentil beads. And these are the 2 projects that I'm going to be teaching in the Czech Republic. So if you guys want more info about that, oh, you know what? Oh my gosh, I don't think I have a link to this on my website. I will fix that as soon as I'm done with this show. I'll make sure that I have a link up there to our Prague trip. Let's see. Will I email you when the book is available? I will. If you don't already get emails from me, one way to sign up is you can go straight to my website. There's a little button where you can join our newsletter list. Or do you guys know about there's a giveaway for the Great Bead Extravaganza. So you go to thegreatbeadextravaganza.com and you put in your email address, and then all of the presenters will get your email address. So in exchange for your raffle entry, all the presenters get your email, and then you should definitely join the raffle. So if you haven't yet, do that. And that's one way I can get your email address, or you can just go straight to my website and do it. So, oops, get back in frame. Yeah, so that's what's going on there with my Prague trip stuff. And if you want to learn more about how to design your own Kumihimo patterns, I teach that as well. So I teach a 3-day design retreat. We're going to do it at the Museum of Beadwork in Portland, Maine. It's the first weekend of May. So that's May 1, 2, 3. And it's going to be a blast. You're going to learn how to work with different types of beads, how to write ombres like this. And the coolest thing is that you're going to learn how to do like the prototyping and the troubleshooting needed to work with whatever bead you come across, right? I can't write a book that says this is how you braid with every single bead that has ever existed or will ever exist, right? That's just like too broad. But I can teach you how to figure out how to work with whatever bead you want. And this is so cool because then you can go to your stash, you can go to bead stores, you can go to bead shows, you can go to trunk shows, wherever you find a cool bead, you're like, yeah, I can do a thing with this. And it's going to be awesome. So that's what I'm teaching in May. Also, stay tuned. Make sure you're getting my emails because I haven't put it up yet. I'm going to be teaching a Zoom class on just the basic Kumihimo math, which is just how to do a basic fade. That's just like a 1-hour Zoom class. I've taught it at a few different bead shows. Like I taught it at Bead and Button and American Kumihimo Society, and everybody always loves that class. And people have been asking me for years, "You gonna do it on Zoom?" Well, the answer is finally yes. So make sure you're getting those emails from me. Hold on, I was talking, I missed a bunch of comments. Let's see what it says down here. Is that virtual or in person? I was talking about a lot of things. The design retreat in Maine at the Museum of Beadwork, that is an in-person event. The Prague trip is an in-person event. And the Kumihimo math class, the 1-hour lecture, that's a Zoom class, so that's virtual. It is so cool to figure out your own design, right? It's fun. It's super fun. You get to play almost like bead detective, right? Just like figuring out how stuff goes together. It's very cool. So this is growing. We're getting longer. Again, this is the Queen of Hearts colorway, so it's going to transition to black when I get to the middle of the bracelet. I'll try to braid faster. Ooh, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I just want to get to like the middle section so I can show you guys how to bind off, and we can talk a little bit about peyote stitch. But like I said, I have a complete peyote stitch video on YouTube that you guys can watch. That's a free video on YouTube, so you can watch it whenever you feel like it. Oh, thank you so much, Kathy. She says, beautiful necklace and bracelet. I think you guys are gonna really like making these. Like I said, they are on pre-order. They're not quite ready to ship. If you go to the product on our website in the description, it says that they're ready to ship by January 31st. So they'll definitely be out the door by then. But I think we might have them ready a little bit sooner than that. It's been a popular kit though, so there's a bunch of them to make, and there's not many of us. Um, Jennifer's who makes our kits for us, and she's the best, super detail oriented as you can imagine. You know, we weigh out all the beads, cut all the cords, get everything labeled, right? Like everything in your kit comes really clearly labeled so you know exactly what's what and you're not left wondering what to do. And I'll try to stay in frame here. Ooh, we're almost to the magic transition. I should have made a shorter bracelet, but I wanted to make it for me, right? I don't need a bracelet that doesn't fit me. So what am I making? This is the 7.5 inch bracelet. So it's 7.5 inches long, which means it fits a 6.5 inch wrist. And it says that on the instructions. It spells out this is the length of the bracelet, and this is the wrist circumference that it'll fit. And that's just because, you know, it's kind of thick. Absolutely. Now the hard part is deciding which colorway to order. They're all beautiful. Um, yes. I sorry, not sorry. I'm kind of known for this, for making a bunch of really great colors. So it is hard to choose. And yeah, sorry, not sorry. Isn't that pretty? I love that. I love this colorway. I love like all the different reds with the silver and the white and the black. All right, so let's see. So warp number one is into the solid black section. So that means we've started, we're into our transition. And three is also in solid black. So is five and six. No, go. There's also a little bit of black in the main mix as well, as you can see, which just sort of like helps with the transition period because sometimes you get like a surprise black bead. What brand of eights do I use? I use Japanese eights. I use both Toho and Miyuki because they come in different colors. And I love colors and I want to have all the colors, so I use both of them. So these are, I would say any given mix of beads, it probably has both of the main brands. And then some of them, some of these beads, these black ones with the partial coat of silver, these are Miyuki beads that were sent to the Czech Republic to get this partial silver coating on them. And I just think that's so cool. I love that little like extra silver coat on there. Okay. There, you can start to see. Oh, do you notice this? That like when I turn the disc over to show you guys that I put my hand over here, best practice when you're at home, don't flip your disc over. If you want to look at your own braid, here, if you want to look at your own braid when you're at home, I don't want you to flip it over like this. Especially if your disc is older, the the slots could loosen up and you could just like flip the whole thing. So when you're at home and you're not videoing this for a live audience on the internet, I want you to like lift it up and look at it. You guys scoot back, right? Lift and look. Don't flip it over. I'm just doing that because I'm on camera and it's the only way to like really show you. But to be careful, I put my hand over it so that it doesn't spill accidentally. But you can see this was like our main mix, and now we're starting to get into the transition area where it's becoming mostly black. Now, the other thing that's kind of different because I'm on camera and I'm over a table is my weight, like already it's wanting to hit the table. Normally that doesn't happen until until it's much longer, right? If I'm just like sitting here, this has to be pretty long before it hits my lap. But since there's a table right there, it it's already hitting. So I don't even think this is long enough to tie a knot, but when you're at home and you're braiding and it starts to like land in your lap, you're just gonna tie a knot. I'm gonna have to just hold mine a little bit higher, or I'll just move my weight slightly. Whoops, sorry, I got kind of close to the camera there. All right, if I haven't said it recently, we do have a coupon code happening right now for the awesome ombre kits. It's TGBE. It runs through Monday, and you can use $20 off your kit. You do have to type that code in, so be sure to put that in. There's a little spot on the final checkout page. But I know you guys are pros at online shopping, so you know how to do it. You know how coupons work. And are we there? Yeah, I think we're now at the start of the solid black section. So some of the colorways are, really high contrast, like the Queen of Hearts or the Sonoran Sunset. Some of them I went like really subtle, like When the Desert Blooms. So it goes from more of this like Palo Verde green to this like really vivid saguaro green, like right after it rains. They really do like they change colors when it rains. It's incredible. So it just depends on what you're into, right? So that's why I make a bunch of different colorways so that you guys can find something that speaks to you. All right, I'm just trying to keep an eye on my time. Let's talk about how to finish off our braid. So when we're when we're totally done, right? We're gonna braid up all of these beads. I still have a bunch of beads left. So when I'm finished, I'm gonna braid more without beads. So the end of this is gonna look just like the beginning. So it's gonna be like a little half-inch nub and no beads. And then you'll take off all your bobbins and tie an overhand knot. So the beginning will look like the end. Debbie has a question. Let's see. What's the best way to tell when your project is long enough? Well, if you're doing a counted pattern like this, you're just gonna like string it up and braid, and that'll be it. But you can measure while it's on here, right? So if you're doing something else and like you don't like have a specific pattern, you just get a ruler out and not a ruler, get a tape measure. That'll make your life easier. So get a tape measure and line up the zero. Get in frame, Rebecca. Line up the zero with your point of braiding and then pull this down. So I'm currently at about 3.5 inches. Not enough for a bracelet, obviously. But say that number's like 7. I'm like, okay, great. Now it's long enough. So you can just measure it. Um, yeah, we have a comment here. I find it good to use a tumbler style mug. Yeah, I got like this mason jar that I use for videos. Yeah, you can find something to rest it on if you like. I use the mason jar for the videos because it's short. I do have a taller like pint glass, but sometimes like it's a little bit too close to my camera, depending on how I've set my camera up. But yeah, let me just set it there. Now I don't braid with it on here. That's just to like set it when I'm doing stuff. Oh, somebody noticed my bracelet. So whoops, I'm too close to the camera. This is a captured crystal chainmail bracelet. My spouse Richard designed and made this. So I'm a chainmail girly in the sense that I wear a lot of chainmail jewelry, but I don't actually make a lot of it because generally Richard makes it for me. But I'm wearing this bracelet because I wanted to remember um, that we're going to be launching kits of this chainmail bracelet next week at designandadorn.com. So if you are into chainmail and you want to learn, well, if you're into chainmail and you want a cool kit, grab this. If you want to learn chainmail, grab this kit. Richard is also going to be doing a Zoom class of this in March. The flat pattern, is that, we're talking about this one? This is called Soiree. Um, I don't have kits of it anymore. This was a limited edition kit and we sold all the kits, but we do still sell the pattern for this. And it's Soiree. And we have a question, what's the code? That's our code, TGBE. I kept it super simple so everybody could remember it. And that's $20 off your awesome ombre kit. All right, so let's talk about finishing. So this is some other project that I have. So when you take your project off the disc, the two ends are going to look the same. You're going to have a little bit of nubbin. You're going to have a knot. There was obviously longer tails here. I cut those off a long time ago because I just grabbed this out of the unfinished project pile so I could have something to demonstrate with. And then we're going to bind off the ends. You can use whatever sort of beading thread you have handy. The color doesn't have to match. You can use 1G, KO. This is Nymo. I'm not going to use the Nymo because it's white and it will become invisible on my white table. I'm going to use some of this 1G. So when it comes off of either the paper bobbin, if you got a kit because we cut it for you, or if it comes off of, you have a spool of it at home, it's going to be either curly or kinky. So you want to pull it to stretch it. And let me find some scissors. And here we go. So I have like, let's say 1.5 feet of this beading thread. Once you get better at it, you can get shorter and shorter with your thread. But let's say 18 inches while you're learning. Absolutely, a spool of Nymo lasts forever. It really does. I don't know that I've ever seen the center of one. Okay, so I'm gonna take my thread and I'm gonna fold it unevenly. So there's a long side and a short side. So here's my little loop. I didn't do anything special. I just made a U-turn with the thread. And I'm going to put this loop of thread towards the beads. This is a two-handed operation. So I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to pinch the two threads on top of the little beaded nubbin. I'm going to see if I can keep myself in frame if I zoom in a little bit. Wish me luck. So I'm going to take the longer thread and we're going to wrap around. I'm wrapping around the tail and I'm wrapping around the nubbin of the braid. And we don't have to go around forever. You know, like 4 or 5 times is fine. So that's good. That amount of binding is good there. So that if we weren't counting and we're just eyeballing that, maybe that's like about 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to take the longer thread, that's the working thread, and it's going to go through the loop. Where's the loop? Here, under my thumb. I can't see it. So I'm going to have to reposition my hands. I have to pinch these wraps. So currently I'm holding like the tension with the tail. And if I let go of this, it's going to go spray and unravel. So I'm going to pinch this and rotate. And I'm going to go through the loop with my working thread and making sure not to catch any of the beads. So see, I'm through that loop. And here's my tail, it's just hanging out down here. Pull the tail, that closes the loop. There we go, we're in frame. And then I'm going to just tie an extra, just an extra square knot on top of there, like a right over left, left over right situation. There we go. And these tails, I can just cut that off. All right, so let's see. I had a few questions while I was doing that. Let's see. What kind of thread is it, and is it included in the kit? We do not include the binding thread in the kit. We consider that a tool because a spool of binding thread lasts, oh, I'm way too zoomed in, lasts years and years. So we don't include these. You need to just like buy a thread, the spool of the same thing with the glue. This particular thread that I just demonstrated with is 1G, which is a type of beading thread. You could also use 9OD. You could use KO. You could probably use sewing thread if you really needed to. It's lots of choices there. I don't know why I can't just get this. Oh, I'm sorry. Practice. If you're having trouble doing it with well, and I'm not sure which part if you mean the finishing part, practice. Practice with maybe use a bigger piece of cord. Maybe you can see it better with a bigger piece of cord. So this is a piece of rat tail, and I'm not gonna be able to put it down here at the end. It's just I don't think it's gonna fit. But can I use the code multiple times for a second kit? Yeah, you sure can. Get as many as you want. No limit. I mean, until we sell out. So here, I'll demo with a bigger piece of cord, and I'm not going to try to do it right at the very end because it's just not possible. So maybe if you're having trouble, practice it with a bigger piece. So I'm going around 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll call that good enough. So here's my working thread. This needs to go through the loop that's over here. I'm going to reposition my hand. So I'm pinching those loops so they can't go anywhere while I reposition. And I take the tail, but not, excuse me, not the tail, the working thread. I put the working thread through the loop and then I pull the tail. See how that closes the loop? Then I can just pull this in opposite directions. Then you can tie an extra knot on there. So if you're having trouble with the binding, just practice. Just practice a few times, and it doesn't have to be on your real piece. You can practice, you know, like this with some satin cord. Chuck that out of here. And let's see, were there any other? What is the largest size of the bracelet? I just typed that onto my website. Let me look it up. Downloadable patterns. Okay, so the wrist sizes for the bracelet pattern, approximately, I rounded them to the nearest half inch for this description because they're really in like eighths of an inch, and that's annoying to type out. 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9. So approximately 9-inch wrist. And then the necklaces were, um, again, approximately 17 inches, 8.5, 20 inches, 21.5, 22 3/4, and 24 inches. Um, that's a good question. And let me see. All right, so that was binding. And then you're obviously going to do both ends of this, right? Because we make both the same. So you're going to bind both ends of this and you're going to get really nice sharp scissors. Um, if you're not sure if you have nice sharp scissors, you're going to have some tail left over. Where did my braid go? Right, like you can come down here and if you go, oh man, are these good scissors or not? Try cutting all your tails. If you can just snap through all of them at once, those are your good scissors. They're probably in your fabric department at your house, wherever you keep your sewing stuff. You know, the good scissors, the ones that you don't let people use for paper, those are the ones you want for this. They don't have to be special, they just have to be sharp. So then you're going to cut off the two ends and whoop, magnets. And you're going to glue on the magnets. I use E6000 glue. It's not in the kit. We do sell it on the website. Again, this is one of those things like a tube of glue does at least like 10 kits. And yeah, so the main thing you need to know about E6000 glue is you have to let it dry 24 hours. So you're gonna put your end caps on here and then you're going to walk away. When people have glue failure, it's usually because they messed with it before it cured. So um, it takes 24 hours. If you come back in like 6 hours, you go, oh, hey, is my necklace dry? And you pull this off, you go, oh no, it's not dry. And you stick it back on, you're done. It's not gonna set up properly because you interrupted. It's a chemical process when the glue is curing. So seriously, don't mess with it. What I do is and you glue them and you let them rest in the open position. I take blue painter's tape and I tape it to a table and I'll take a little Sharpie and I'll write RTW, ready to wear, and then tomorrow's date and the current time. And then that's it. I just walk away. So that's that. So after you've got your stainless steel magnets on there and they've dried, or while they're drying, you can work on your peyote stitch. And these are our peyote stitch ink cap cover. Someone's asking, are the black beads peyote? I think it's probably just how the color looks in the on the screen. These aren't black; they're like a real dark raspberry, but they are peyote stitch. That is absolutely correct. I'm going to tidy up some of these beads here, and we can talk a little bit about peyote stitch. Let me get my bead scoop here. Do you guys have a bead scoop in your stash of little handy tools? I love these. It's one of those things like, do you have to have a bead scoop? No, but it's really nice. So let me get you guys over here. And then I'll show you guys some peyote stitch. Said earlier, I do have a full peyote stitch demo, like super close up on my YouTube, but let's talk a little bit about peyote stitch. So these are size 11 delicas, and this is the one for this necklace here. So kind of like a raspberry color. And basically, after you get it started, it's just a little stair step. You're picking up one bead at a time. I gotta get this other needle out of the way before I stab myself. And You can make your peyote stitch end cap covers and I mean, obviously you want them to fit this project, but you can make them, they're customizable, so you can make them for whatever project you're doing. It says in the instructions how big to make these. What are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 beads wide. And anyway, you just go one bead at a time. Oh, if you guys were watching Nilay's presentation, like right before mine, he was also doing peyote stitch. His project where it was that like sea foam green, like captured silver silk, and then like the light pink beadwork over it. That was peyote stitch. So there's a lot of peyote stitch happening today because it's a cool technique. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I use my son's baby spoon for a bead scoop. He's an adult now. I love that. Oh, that's nice. It's like a nice fond memory every time you use it. I love when you can like repurpose things like that. I learned to do the peyote cover on your website. I love how finished it makes it look. Oh, thanks. I'm so glad you gave it a try. I like it too. I'm really into peyote stitch end cap covers because it enables you to customize your design and get, just the perfect color for your project. It's not fast though. It's not a super speedy thing, but that's okay. We don't have to be in a hurry all the time. Oh, oopsie, I picked up 2 beads. What do you do if you pick up 2 beads? We'll stop and go back. Uh, take your needle off. Don't try to sew backwards. Just like, can you sew backwards? Yeah, but I feel like it's just a recipe for disaster. So I'm just gonna take my needle off, take off both of those beads, and then rethread my needle. So I'm using a tulip needle. You can also use a big eye needle. Big eye needle is what comes in the kit. This is just what I had already threaded on here, so I'll just keep going with this. So whatever type of beading needle you like, if you're using the beading needles that come in sizes, I like a size 11 for this project. Time to learn. You know what I think? I think that sometimes my thing is throwing me comments in a random order. 'Cause I'm like, oh, I think I saw that already. All right, so is anyone excited to try Kumihimo? Anybody who was like, oh, I don't know about it. Anyone like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I hope so. I hope you guys all try it because it's really fun. All right, so that's that. Basically, you just keep on going till it's long enough to wrap around. It says in the instructions how long to make it. And then just zip the ends together. Right, it's basically just like fold in half like a sandwich and zip it up. All right, let's see. I'm running out of time, so I better like say all the things. So that's our project. So we're doing the awesome ombre. All the work is in the stringing, right? That's how the color change goes. So the kit instructions or the PDF instructions, if you just want to get the PDF, it has stringing charts for 8 sizes of bracelets, 6 sizes of necklace. Let me put that coupon code up there. The kits are on pre-order, so that means they're still in production. We're a micro business, just like everybody at Great Bead Extravaganza. We're like a teeny tiny micro business, so it does sometimes take us a little while to make the kits. We currently have them promised by the end of the month, and we'll try to get them out as soon as we can. Definitely by then. Um, Other things, make sure that you are signing up for the Great Bead Extravaganza giveaway. That is at thegreatbeadextravaganza.com. there's a whole nother day tomorrow of great bead extravaganza. Isn't that amazing? So many fantastic presenters and projects, and everyone's just like sharing their love of beading and creating and being together. So that's happening tomorrow. We still have kits available of the awesome ombre in lots of different colors. So you can check those out and use the coupon code. And let's see, be sure to subscribe to our email newsletter so you can find out updates from us, like when the book goes on pre-order, and you can find more information about our trip to Prague. I will get a link on our website as soon as I'm done with this live. And yeah, thank you so much for beading with me, and thank you to the Great Bead Extravaganza, all my friends there, for inviting me to join. This is so much fun. I really love sharing Kumihimo. It's my favorite thing, and it's so relaxing and meditative, and sometimes you just need to get out of your head a little bit and just work with your hands. And I hope that you'll give it a try and that you learn something new, even if you are already a Kumihimo pro. You can follow my videos at youtube.com/design and adorn. And we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/design and adorn. Thank you